Today we're going to talk about ABO screening. Everyone is curious to know what their blood type is. And in order to know this and be able to understand the rest of the presentation, it's going to be important for you to understand two basic concepts. And that is going to be the antibody and the antigen. The antibodies are generally found in serum. Antigens are generally found on the cell. Antigens and antibodies work much like that of a lock and key mechanism. So today we're going to look at how to do an antibody screen and find out what your blood type is. The first thing you see here is we actually have blood, which has our antigen, and we're going to use antibody in order to determine whether or not your blood type is type A, B, or O. So the first thing that we're going to do is we've got our test tubes laid out here, and I'm going to add a drop of the blood cells into each tube, and we're going to find out what the blood type actually is. Okay, so this is our antisera. Much like that of the serum, we actually have simulated with anti-A. If our patient is type A, we will see a reaction in the test tube after we centrifuge it. This is our antibody B. We're going to add this to our second tube to determine whether or not the patient is B. And this is our anti-D, which is what tells us our RH factor, whether we're going to be RH positive or RH negative. So we're going to add a drop to that test tube as well. Going to mix it up gently. We're going to put it in our centrifuge. We're going to spin it for 15 seconds. A positive reaction is going to be depicted by a clot in the bottom of the tube. That is known as a agglutination reaction. And in just a few seconds, we're going to see whether or not each of the tubes has agglutinated as expected. As a safety feature, the lid will not open until the rotor has completely stopped, and this takes just a few more seconds. Okay, so what we're going to see here, let's take a look at the first tube we have, and that is going to be our anti-A tube. If we give it a brief shake, we will notice that we do not have a clear drop of blood anymore. It is depicted by that of a clot. I'm going to step around here a little closer for you to see. And you can see here we have a rolling clot in the tube. So that would be a positive reaction for our A tube. Again, we'll do the same thing for our B. In this tube, I'll step around a little closer. You will notice that I have no clot in the tube. It's just clear rolling drop of blood. And again in our D tube. And you can see it is depicted by a clot. So what this actually simulates is that we have an A positive patient. And this was my blood, so I know that we're correct because I am A positive. Now in the event that we had a patient that was type O blood, we would see no clotting in the A or the B. If we had an RH negative person, we would see no clotting in the D. So the way that we depict this is, let's take a look on the board. So let's interpret. When we interpret our reactions, this is what tells us what their blood type is. And in order to do that, we understand that the antibodies form to antigens. So blood type A has antibodies to type B blood. Type B blood has antibodies to type A blood. Type AB has no antibodies at all. And type O has antibodies to both A and B. So let's look at what happens next. So what is this D that we referred to? The anti-D reagent is to determine the Rh type of the patient. So in other words, if you're Rh positive, you can have either Rh positive or Rh negative blood. If you're Rh negative, you can only take Rh negative blood. So let's do a quick rundown of how we interpret blood type. A positive blood type can only have transfused to them A positive, A negative, or O positive or O negative blood, as O has no antibodies. Type B can have B positive, B negative, O positive or O negative blood, and O positive can only have type O positive or negative blood. AB can have anything because they have no antibodies. A negative type blood can only have A negative or O negative because remember our D reagent told us about the Rh negative. B negative can only have B negative or O negative blood. AB negative can only have A negative, B negative, O negative, or AB negative. And O blood type can only have O negative type blood.